will have 2 questionnaires today, and after finishing coursework, you fill the questionnaire. Also, today, especially, Mr. In Young Lee came here to help us for video recording and coursework consultant. So this video will be recorded for my improvement. How I speak and how I teach you, or how we interact with each other. So today, if you have a look at the back of questionnaire, you'll find some book list for self-help. Did you hear anything about self-help?
Similar with self-development.
Self-development, you said. Self-development or self-management or self-help. Originally, the word self-help was used by Samuel Smalls. The book was published in 1859, as was written at the back. And the maxim, heaven helps those who help themselves, is not from Bible, but from his book, Self-Help. So he's very famous for the author as the book titled Self-Help, and then we have several kinds of such a book. Did you hear anything about Dale Carnegie?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, they have training.
Training. Did you get some training about?
Yeah, leadership training.
Leadership. Yeah, that's the word. Leadership training. He's very famous in leadership training field.
Yeah.
There are a course named the Dale Carnegie course. Yeah. How did you get leadership training?
USD
USD provide leadership program. Yeah. It's great. Also, you may hear about Stephen Covey, who is famous with his 7 Habits. Like that, this book, one-page proposal, is also a bestseller in self-help book or self-management book. So today we will. Pardon? Dr. Tani? And what did you find from chapter 3 of preparation? What is your own keyword from preparation chapter?
I just called some method to do to write some lists that we know and lists that we don't know.
You found that we have to make a list, 2 kinds of lists.
Yeah.
What we do know and what we don't know. Great. So how can you utilize such a finding into your own preparation? What kind of changes do you expect before and after?
Before and after, I do some listing of do know and don't know. I think it can help me to help us to have more knowledge about what are we going to do. Because if we have list about what we don't know, then we can find out the thing, and then it becomes our best to do some business or something, to write some proposal.
So in this chapter, preparation, what I found here is this book contains very personal story about the author himself. So even we have chapter like this, section like this, keeping it personal. Keeping it personal. Anyway, I'd like to draw your attention to what you told us. What I do know, and what I matters significant here. Don't know. So unlike scientific papers, in scientific papers we rarely use the subject I. Mostly we are using passive sentences. What is known, if we paraphrase this, what is known and what is unknown or what is not known, right? But rather than using this one, this book use sentence like this: what I do know, or what you do know, and what you do not know. So take advantage of such a subjective or very personal view of whole stories written here. Also, let's take some new perspective into your thinking. So I simply preparation with I. So who will prepare the proposal? That should be I, not you. That is the point I'd like to share with you. Also, here in the chapter, what I found today is also difficult English words to me. What difficult English words did you find? Not in terms of science, but in terms of everyday or business words. I found some words and I checked online dictionary, and I'd like to share such difficulties with you. And if I have solution, I'll let you know what I found. Or I will ask you, unless you have. Firstly, I found several, but let me say one thing significant to this issue. Know or don't know. What is BS detector? Detector. We know the word detector. I'll let you know the pages I found this. Page 28. What's the deal on your wheeler dealer? Wheeler dealer itself is not a known language to me, but any person focus on BS detector. Is there anybody to know BS? Oh, Muhammad, welcome. Do you know what does this mean? BS detector?
Detector?
Detector we know. What is BS here? So this is what you do not know. But this is what I know. So I can be a writer of proposal at this moment, and you can be a reader of my proposal anyway. Because I have some knowledge and you are expecting to know about this, right? And nobody knows about BS. But when you read the textbook, did you read this section?
Yeah.
But you didn't take any notice here, BS.
No.
So you just skipped,
No.
not paying attention to this particular word. But it's okay to scan the text, but right now, at this very moment, what about your own thinking about BS detector by reading the sentence? Would you read my working assumption, blah, blah, the sentence?
My working assumption is always that my proposal to recipient has a sharply and be detector.
Stop there. What is proposal's recipient? Oh, yes, reader. And sharply honed BS detector. Honed is kind of grinding the knife. Sharply prepared. Then BS, even in capital. It looks strange, doesn't it? So without having proper meaning of BS, you may not catch full significance of this section. What's the deal on your hiller-diller? Hiller-diller, the word hiller-diller is not common word in science or technology either. But BS is simply bullshit detector. Aha. What does it mean, aha? Ah.
It's like some fake false data.
Lie, false, fake, or better things.
Nonsense.
Nonsense, yes, nonsense. Nonsense is very neutral. But lie, emotional, technical word, social word. There is difference between technical and social word. You can make people angry with using the word lie or liar, but it may be okay or relatively better with nonsense. Politically better with nonsense. Anyway, bullshit is a bad word, right? So if you find some bullshit in the proposal, what should you do as a leader?
I think I just reject the proposal.
Yes, reject. Don't waste your time with proposal writer. You don't want to listen to him or listen to her. Okay? Reject. So, in such a way, you can save your time, not wasting your time or not wasting your money. So, in business world, so BS detector is a kind of business word, not the science or technology word. So, to read the text properly, you need to know something about business word. That is one thing. Likewise, hiller-diller. Who knows the meaning or definition of hiller-diller? Hiller-diller. Silence. Now, unless you have dictionary about this, have a guess. And even you can check dictionary.
Who deals a lot of things.
Means what?
Who deals a lot of things. Keep on.
Who?
Means
One
not
who did.
Specific.
Ah,
Not specific.
not specific.
Yeah.
But one meaning that hiller-diller, the word hiller-diller have is a kind of better thing like bullshit. Simply, it's a kind of, in simple word, who can do a business in dishonest way. In dishonest manner, he may pursue gain or profit. So we should have some BS detector against hiller-diller. Also, even if hiller-diller can be neutral like nonsense, but nice thing, hiller-diller may act as a dishonest dealer, but good thing about this one is kind of shrewd. Shrewd or clever. Shrewd.
What's the meaning of the
shrewd? Shrewd is clever in his planning, not necessarily in ethical way, but even down to dishonest way. Any very precise in his accounting, but only pursuing his own gain. Shrewd and dishonest or shrewd, but more emphasis on shrewd. So healer dealer may deceive others to gain his own profit, but he may not be deceived by others. So he has his own BS detector. He may not be fooled by others' nonsense. So time to time, as a scientist or engineer, we have tendency to be very naive. So many scientists, as an entrepreneur, I'm talking about venture business, they may fail because of their naive enthusiasm about business world. In business world, like animal kingdom, there are real fighting against limited resources like food or some opportunities for survival. So lots of bullshit or lots of fake or some real threat in terms of gaining money or in terms of losing money. So we should be aware of such a danger. But wheeler dealer himself may be aware of such a dangers. Anyway, he's an expert dealer. Sometimes even in dishonest ways, sometimes anyway, always, sometimes dishonest, but always shrewd. Always shrewd. Simply clever. Always clever. He will not be deceived by others, but he may deceive others to gain his own profit. Wheeler dealer is the person like that. Without knowing these two keywords, you may not follow what he is trying to explain for us. So you need to catch the meaning of these two. The other thing is very minor, but if you look at the opposite pages, keeping it personal. Would you read first paragraph? 세 페이지인가요? 네. When I was keeping it personal section.
Keeping it personal. When I was a young man of strength to traveling to Turkey, I picked up a copy of Newsweek and read an article describing the extraordinary life and conservation efforts of two Americans, Dr. William Jordan and his experiment going on.
Stop there. What is Newsweek in Italy? Magazine or weekly magazine. It's not a daily newspaper, weekly magazine. Like, do you know Time magazine? Time? Newsweek is like that. Newsweek and Time are two most famous weekly magazine in United States, not necessarily in the world, but I don't know. So without knowing the meaning of Newsweek used here, you may not catch the importance of. Also, without knowing the two famous American actors, William Holden and Don Hunt, you may not recognize the importance of the following meeting. So it's kind of way to put emphasis on its significant level or important level or simply their value or position in the world, worldwide. Anyway, 성관 씨, 그 다음에 읽어보실래요? Would you read the picture alongside?
The picture alongside the article shows the two men running through the tall grass of Kenya chasing a cheetah. The article describes their life at the Mount Kenya Safari Club and their vision for the club's expansion. It was 1989 and most of my friends who were serving in the armed forces. Several were in Vietnam, and two of them had been killed in action.
Stop there. So, what is the historical event during 1969 in United States and in Vietnam? What did we have in terms of history?
Vietnam War.
Yes, Vietnam War. In Vietnam War, who fighted against whom? U.S. and Vietnam. Even we had Korean armies there. So at that time, even in United States, military service seemed to be compulsory, not optional. But who will lead the following? 성아 씨가 그 I spent부터 iPad로 읽어보실래요? 그거는 좀 자신이 없구나. Stop there. Rather than reprieve, what is POF? Is that post-pro or something else? Who knows about POF? I'm asking your guess. Intelligent guess about the meaning of POF.
People who take rest,
Hmm?
do some sort of activity in which lot of force is not required.
Could you repeat?
I mean, those persons will do such activity in which lot of force running is not required.
What is not required?
Forceful activity.
Forceful activity.
Yeah.
Simply unfit for military service. It's better than post-pro. Much better. How did you know that? Or how did you guess it?
Because he is injured.
Injured.
Yeah.
So not suitable for military service. Yeah. By reading the sentences, Muhammad made some reasonable guess about the meaning of POF. That is quite correct. Dictionary definition is like that: unfit or unsuitable for military service. But POF is only valid in United States. We have another word in Korean. We do not use POF. This is the score or grade system in United military service at that time. So, as both the United States military service and the historical events around that time matter. Without knowing these two, we may not be sure about the definition of POF, but even without knowing these two facts, Muhammad made a good guess. So we can make such a reasonable guess. It's okay. So I'm encouraging you to have such a reasonable guess when you read text like this. Anyway, we are not from business background, but by reading this kind of textbook, we can extend our vocabulary in such a way. So that is the experience I'd like to share with you. Also, the Newsweek article was my call to action then. Dr. Tani, will you keep reading? I traveled.
I traveled to Kenya and spent next 4 months studying every details of Holden's and Hans' lives, their businesses and their private concerns. Finally, I called Don Hunt to make an appointment to see him and to make him an offer he couldn't refuse, to hire me.
To hire me or simply hire me. Anyway, assuming that you read chapter 4, hire me, anyway, is a sentence, although it's a commanding or asking sentences. What this can be placed into what sections can this sentence be placed in one-page proposal? Hire me. First of all, which steps do we have? Rest one is date and signature. First one was title and subtitle. What do you have in between? Target and secondary target, and most significant is rational. Oh, great. Rational. Oh, finance. Status, yes. Action. So, action. Hire me can be action. So, if you keep reading this, anyway, let's keep reading this. You found significant sentence here, hire me, as a part of proposal. And let's see. I called Nanyuki, where the mountain Kenya safari is located, using two-way radio, and dawdled over after each complete thought. What is this situation, Dr. Taning? I read on behalf of you to allow you to think about the situation. What did he have in terms of communication? Did he use email or did he use kind of walkie-talkie or radio communication? Was it in good quality in terms of sound or?
Maybe there is some phase difference, time difference. So after completing each sentence, they say over. Just like police says when they talk, they say, when they speak sentence, and then they say over.
To confirm over.
So
over.
maybe there is some difference, delay. So that's why it helps.
Yeah. So the reason why I made pause here to sense the live feeling. Let's suppose we are not in Korea, but in Kenya, not in year 2015, but year 2097. To keep it personal, we should at a live condition. So to sense his own feeling at that time. Not only learning from our own experience, but learning from others' experience can be very valuable. What we are doing today is to learn from him, the author of textbook. So let's bring us to there and then. Not here, not today, but back to the year of 1969 and go to the place where he was using walkie-talkie for communication. Okay, let's have some sense. Then, Dr. Tani, will you keep reading?
From which sentence?
The conversation.
The conversation was awkward.
Simply, this was the answer to my question. The conversation was awkward.
To say the least, but because I knew the action I wanted in meeting, and because I had thought out my proposition to the last detail, I got that meeting. Within 5 months, I was on safari in the Horn of Africa with Holden and Hunt, catching wild animals in a relocation effort in Somalia. I was a long way from home, and it was my first job, but I loved it. I worked for them for 6 years, sometimes catching cheetah in Somalia, other times building drive-through safari parks for the likes of Warner Brothers. It was a great time in my life during which I enjoyed wonderful adventures, and I owe it all to the effort I put into my initial proposition.
Oh, thank you. So, let me ask this question. Did he write any kind of proposal for his own employment or not? He just came there. But anyway, he did make some proposal, not by word, but by what?
Intuitively. In his mind. Yeah.
What did you say? Entity or?
Intuitively.
Intuitively.
Yeah.
Intuitively. What did he do?
He made his proposal in his mind, and then he talked.
Oh. Yes, that's the point I'd like to share with you. He didn't write anything, but he came there by person. But what can you learn from his action?
Just keeping it personal.
That is the title.
Even if you have conversation, you should have pre-planning.
There is like structure, well structure.
Simple thing is like this. Anyway, this is open question, so you can imagine any kind of behind the story. But to me, proposal or even one-page proposal can be very formal, although it can be informal to scientists and engineer. But essence is like this. Let's read the next paragraph. 성아 씨가 읽어볼래?
The point is this: you have to recognize the person you plan to take your proposal to, and always remember the dignity is personal. I have the culture and the heart would respect my effort to them, and I was right.
Yes. Point is this. Even you can use this sentence. The point is this for your own purpose, for other purpose. But my point is this. Action either can be written sentence or your own real action. Okay? You should not be stuck in some formality. When you can fulfill your purpose, we should be able to adapt such a formality into executable way. Anyway, he found out later that thousands of people had written. He didn't write anything, but he found later thousands of people had written Holden and Hunt asking for jobs. But after reading this, the author of this textbook, as I realized, he didn't write anything. What he did is action to go there, visit there, and walkie-talkie before he met them. Walkie-talkie and confirmed that, okay, I'm going there, I'm coming there, and he was offered. Okay, so this is kind of secret to success. Make difference between you and others. Nobody came there except him. That's he found later. So how can he make such a differences? I'll tell you something about self-help book or self-management or leadership training program. Many attend such a program, but not all of them become a good leader. So knowing some textbook or attending some program like that cannot improve you. You should improve you. Program cannot change you. You can change you by your own action. In that sense, keeping it personal, you should connect yourself to your knowledge. Your knowledge and you should be in synchronized manner, no gap. Then you can take some risk. What risks did he have? Any think about risk he had at that time? Travel? What does that mean for him at that time? Traveling.
Because we specifically went there and then talked that person. So if he didn't get any offer from him, then he may have lost his some time.
As well as what? Money. Bingo. I totally agree with you. Money matters. His purpose is to get job, but without being offered for his own job, he had the risk to lose his own money by spending a lot for traveling from United States to Africa. Even present days, it costs a lot. Around that time, it may cost more. Okay? So it's very correct. He had risk to lose money when he tried to get money. But by spending some money for his own initiative, also by spending his own time may be trivial at the time for him because he was exempted from military service, unlike his own friends. So he realized he has some opportunity to spend his time along this kind of activity. But spending money is another thing, especially when you would like to have a job for money. So taking risk is first step. So preparation, what do we need to take to do preparation? I was talking about money with this story, but for you, what risk do you have in terms of spending time for preparation? It's too simple questions. Research demands what cost? Either money or time can be regarded as a cost. So you need to spend your money or you need to spend your time to do extra preparation to make proposal better. Yes, time. As a PhD candidate, you have lots of activity that should be done in timely manner. Why should you spend your own time for your own proposal or your own dream project? You may have same risk as the author of this book had at that time, although you may not spend money for your own preparation. So always preparation demands risk. For him, he did here the trip. Who will read the rest sentence? This is so important. Yes. Dr. Kim, would you read? Yeah.
I found out later that thousands of people have written older and not asking for jobs and sending resumes, but I was the only one who had traveled to Kenya to meet them. That trip was the extra mile, and it changed my life.
Extra mile. is the effort for your own preparation to be their employee or to get job offer at the place he did extra mile, and it can be considered as his own preparation. So preparation made success with his own action. So he didn't have any title, no target written, no rational, no financial aspect for them to consider, but he did take preparation as a travel to Dell and action. If you squeeze whole his activity, he may have preparation. He did have preparation. That is the travel to Dell. And he did have action. Preparation action is the minimal component of his personal proposal, no written proposal. So this can be a kind of very essential point of any kind of proposal. Your offer here and asking. So I'm asking you to do action for me. Okay? Here, hire me. Or buy me. Buy my idea. If you are reluctant to use buy me, buy my idea. And as a scientist and engineer, we'd like to sell our idea to realize our dream project. Okay? Please sponsor me or support my research. So please buy my idea or buy action and enable or sponsor my project. That will be action. And the former one, our extra mile can be preparation. So we have some symmetry here. Two chapters should be read together. Also the following chapter, next week, translating your knowledge into one-page format, a little bit lengthy, but writing the one-page problem more. But we have some parallel correspondence. Preparation became translating, and sequence, or that was not sequence, I put the word sequence, but roadmap or one-page proposal format will become writing. So 2 chapters per week, you will repeat the same thing again, kind of deja vu, or strengthening or increasing your knowledge behind one-page proposal methodology, as well as the spirit of such a methodology. From chapter 3, preparation, is there any question now? Preparation. Also chapter 4, roadmap. Even English problem, I'd like to hear from you. Like a BS detector, healer dealer, 4F. Unless you have reasonable understanding, then let's talk about English problem too. Unless you have such a things promptly, let me ask the word about sacrosanct. In the last paragraph of roadmap, the sequence is sacrosanct. Pardon? holy. The sequence is holy. And what other meaning can we attach to sacrosanct rather than holy? Sacred. Sacred. Sacred is equivalent to holy. What should we do with something holy, or what can we do? We cannot do anything. Just follow. What is your idea about being holy or being sacrosanct? That is better word in practice. You should not touch. If I paraphrase untouchable, in this case unchangeable, don't change. Makes sense. Much better than just being holy. To me, holy is a good word in English and simple word, but in terms of practice, it doesn't convey any further meaning. But if you add untouchable, or don't change, or unchangeable, it's much better. So, in his saying, the sequence is sacrosanct, as I paraphrase, you should not change the sequence, right? So, here, sequences are listed. Don't change these sequences. Follow these sequences. But my point is like this. You can merge them or omit them. Is that a violation to be sacrosanct or not? What is your opinion? Another silence. What? Then let me be honest about my own problem here. The north-south sequence of sections. Who knows about north-south sequence section?
Maybe just like kind of expression from the top to the right down.
Does it have some specific section in the previous paragraph or not? What does this mean? North-south sequence. Direction from north to down to south.
1 to 9. The meaning is tied to 8 and frequency.
Pardon? Meaning of north, south.
Frequency is 1 to 9 on the board.
Top to bottom.
Yeah.
North to south. We should not change it. Sequence should be in this order. 1 down to 9. No change in between. North, south. We do not have specific sections, but north to south sequence sections. Now I got. So north-south sequence of sections I have outlined above. Above means, as you said, the above paragraphs. Above paragraphs should be kept in the order, and in such a way we can keep internal logic. He hopes us recognize. So all of you recognize. I may not recognize it and can appreciate it. It follows basic tenets of single sheet proposal. Single sheet is one page proposal idea that Khashoggi shared with me. Khashoggi is the person who appeared in chapter 1 long ago and reflects the addition of few wrinkles and improvements. Now, 샛별식 그 문장을 읽으실래요? Would you read the sentence?
The
예.
sections apply pairs the knowledge, and then just to point B through knowledge and process and to subsequently. The point C is the correct. It cannot be deconstructed or rearranged then to retain its pervasive power.
Mm. What is point A here? Title. Then what is point B here?
Action.
Mm. Not date and signature.
I think it's
There is kind of tricky question that I had. I do not have quite good confidence here. But Dr. Taning said it should be action, not date and signature. What I found from text today is also title, subtitles, target, second target, rational, financial status, action, all were put in gray box, but not date and signature. So date and signature, although it was given at the end, it may be kind of extra. So if that is the case, Mr. Taning or Dr. Taning may be correct. Action should be point B.
yeah.
Voting. I was 9 point B, but 8 for point B and 9 for point B. 8. 9. No answer. What else do you have, Muhammad? You didn't hear about the question. Sorry. Let me erase it. This is very important concept of one-page proposal. So I'd like to repeat here. Sorry. Not in good order. Anyway, point A, we agree. Title can be point A. Then where is point B? This one or this one? Because 9th as date and signature should be rest one, so I had confusion about the point B position at this staircase. First one is title, subtitle, and target, secondary target, and anyway, this is upstairs or downstairs. First of all, should we have upstairs or downstairs?
Upstairs.
Why we should have upstairs rather than downstairs? I'm honestly saying I didn't think about this possibility. Here, the author of this book used analogy between sequence of one-page proposal and staircases, stairway. If that should be upstairs, why it should be upstairs? You too should have answers.
Because I think going up is just like reaching some enlightenment from no knowledge to full knowledge.
Enlightenment. No knowledge to full knowledge. So
you should upstairs to reach some light or something.
In higher place you can feel more.
To know more means
In
higher place. What about you?
Actually, the first problem is the title. Is the meaning is the most basic things, and the highest meaning is what I want to do.
Height. Oh, important word. Height. What does height mean here?
Meaning action.
Action. Action. So with this height, difference in height should result in action.
That's why I like this proposal.
Action. So your answer should be 8 and it should be in upstairs, not downstairs. That makes sense. But what I realized at this moment is it can be downstairs from different point of view, because without knowledge, it's very hard to decide. But with knowledge, it should be easier to decide. So at the beginning, we have some danger or anxiety. But by reading this, we may have some peace of mind. Let's do it. So it can be opposite. Going upstairs anyway requires energy. Energy to do something. But downstairs, as you know, no energy required, free fall like. So here, there is no explicit explanation about either downstairs or upstairs. But from the point of view, why do we attach height with action is like this? On the earth, we have gravity. We have sense of direction. Against gravity, we should exert some force. But following gravity, no force is required, no energy. So that is the point I agree with you, but even in terms of enlightenment means freedom. Not only height, but also stability. So I do not have any choice now, but it's up to you. Either height or low or stable position. But one thing is clear to all of us is direction. We should not change the direction. We should be consistent, either upstairs or downstairs, action or some conclusion. So why sequence is sacrosanct is like that, I think. We should be consistent in terms of direction, then we will get to the destination. Does it make sense? Okay. And let's have some break. Okay. We are coming back and let's have fresh view of preparation again. I'd like to have kind of intentionally, I'd like to make some repetition. Anyway, this book is very short. This book contains lots of personal stories. So in detail, I'd like to share with you some more personal stories written here. What did you find in terms of personal story rather than Kenya trip? Real story written here. Example story or real story?
What page is that?
27 or
What page?
28? factor in opposing team? Oh. What did you read and what is the main point you'd like to share? Any here personal story, also a real story, which involves a real person, real place, and real issues, and real time, and real reason and real solution. This is component of story, okay? But in science book, we are lacking most of them. We are not talking about who, even we are not talking about when. We may describe our story in present tense, not in past tense or specific time, but even we are lacking the details about the place. Mostly we are interested in what. Even we may provide why and how, but not in the context of who, where, when. But this book is a self-help book and more business-oriented book. This book provides lots of detail in terms of real who and real where and real when, together with real why, revealing conflicts. The reason why we should ask action is to resolve conflict. That is my idea. But anyway, with this in your mind, let's read factor in opposing team together, right? 그럼 그래도 샛별 씨가 또 발음이 좋으니까 never부터 한번 좀 시작해 보실래요? 그리고 이렇게 한번 돌아보자. This way, paragraph by paragraph.
Never underestimate the factors working against the success of your proposal. Conflicted interest, and in the case of political projects or programs, ideology.
Stop there. Never underestimate. So, intention we can say, please overestimate what you think in terms of conflict. Why do we have conflict? It's not because of what we have. It's because of who has concern or who have some opposing idea. Conflict matters in this case. With this sense, Muhammad, could you keep?
7 years ago, I sent a proposal to New York Senator Daniel Moynihan on behalf of Japanese client. For the complete one-page proposal, see page 95. They sought his endorsement of a proposal to display the Space Shuttle Enterprise at a special exhibition in Tokyo.
Stop there. Muhammad, did you read or did you look at page 95? No? Then let's have time for page 95 together. That's in the end, and there was the first sample proposal, Shuttle Enterprise exhibit, a special exhibition of Space Shuttle Enterprise in Tokyo, Japan in 1993. Yeah, 3. So we will not read this all together, but anyway, let's have a look at the format. Shuttle Enterprise exhibit in all capital, subtitle, a special exhibition of Space Shuttle Enterprise, target to demonstrate to the people of Japan and other neighbors, and sub-target to enlarge Japan's sense of shared responsibilities revealed by American space program. It's not Japanese space program, but also secondary target is to convey goodwill of United States and invite opportunities for future cooperation in space between United States and Japan. Likewise, then rational was given without the title rational. Okay, rational doesn't have title, but anyway, rational we have two separate paragraphs. Then financial, there will be no cost to the United States. Blah 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 blah. And status, Space Shuttle Enterprise at Dallas Airport in United States, no longer needed by NASA. And then action. Action, if you look at action, there is a person called Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan. Okay? Then come back to original one. And Muhammad, would you keep reading?
They sought his endorsement of proposal to display the space shuttle enterprise at a special exhibition in Tokyo. It was a sensitive project at a sensitive time in American and Japanese relations. In doing my research on this proposal, I had learned that detractors on Capitol Hill wanted to portray the proposal and its proposals as usurious, hoping only to make exorbitant profits. It was vital, therefore, that I convey to Senator Moynihan all the elements of the proposition, particularly the critical financial circumstances.
Now stop there. Why is it in critical financial circumstances? What do you think, Muhammad, or others may have an idea? First of all, we are in, think about this. When? What happened in 1993 in terms of political situation between Japan and the United States? Muhammad, do you have any idea about political situation at that time? No? Who has an idea? No? And then let's have a reasonable guess, as you did before. For F, Muhammad made very good guess about 4F, unsuitable for military service in the United States at that time. Likewise, 7 years ago, I sent one-page proposal to New York senator, not to Japanese counselor or Japanese company. So the person he would like to ask to do action is U.S. side. Okay? And we read real one-page proposal listed in page 95. And anyway, it was emphasized here. Sensitive project at sensitive time in American-Japanese relations. Politically, economically sensitive. In doing my research on this proposal, I had learned that detractors on Capitol Hill wanted to portray the proposal and its proposers as usurious, hoping only to make exorbitant profit. So it was vital, or it was very necessary or demanding. So I conveyed to Senator Moynihan all elements of proposition, particularly critical financial circumstances. Several things are made clearly. Anyway, who is the person? Who is the person in power? Senator. Is he businessman or politician? Politician. So now politically sensitive, correct? Also, if you read the previous sentence, profits, only to make exorbitant profits and all element proposition, critical financial circumstances. So economically delicate, financially simply bad. But which side is bad in terms of finance? US. US is bad. Then which side is good? Japan. What did Japan do at that time? Nowadays, China can be regarded as a world factory. They export a lot to United States and all around the world. But this time, not this time, at that time, Japan did the same thing to United States. They sold out many, including Sony and Panasonic and even Toyota, cars and electric consumer products was sold, and they gained lots of profit at the time. And in United States, many employees were fired because of such a Japanese invasion in economy. So they were not in good situation. Any politicians should be responsible for national economy, and Japanese forces in economy can be regarded as a threat. So you should have such a perspective to understand the effort, what the author should do. Without resolving such a conflict, he couldn't make the proposal successful. So you should do proper action to remove such a conflict. Okay? You should have such an idea. Otherwise, you cannot grasp the meaning of this section. So when you have a proposal in real setting, either in business or even getting some exceptional funding or sponsor from top management in your institute. Which institute did you? Not in Korea, but in Pakistan.
It's FinStech.
Huh?
FinStech.
What? How can I spell that?
Pakistan Institute of Nuclear Science and Technology.
Pakistan Institute
Of Nuclear Science and Technology.
Nuclear Science and Technology. Is that correct? PINST. Oh, nuclear. I'm very proud of you. Nuclear. Pakistan has strong nuclear power, but it had trouble in terms of you have nuclear armory too, nuclear weapons, right?
Nuclear power plants too.
Pardon?
Nuclear power plants.
Nuclear power plant, as well as nuclear weapon.
Yeah.
So PINST is for nuclear weapons or only for?
Research institute.
Research institute. So officially, no nuclear weapon development. Okay.
It's a nuclear research power plant, research reactor there. Nuclear research reactor.
Nuclear research. In Daejeon, we have nuclear reactor. Do you know the name of such a nuclear reactor?
No, I know other institutes nearby.
Not just yes, Kerry, maybe like PINST. It has its own nuclear reactor here in Daejeon. So we have some safety issue. So they had nuclear reactor 30 megawatt for research purposes, but now it's in shutdown mode because of safety issue. Also, problem is with neighbors around there. Former days, it was okay, but nowadays, people are sensitive to safety issue related with nuclear reactor. So it's hard to operate the facility now. We have some complex issue in terms of nuclear reactor, even in Daejeon. Anyway, let's go back to original story. I addressed you led to critical financial circumstances. So 성아 씨가 그 I address부터 읽으실래요? 예. Stop there. So there will be no cost to United States. What does that mean to United States? Is anyway, United States will not pay anything, but who should pay? Japanese sponsor. Also, I would like to talk about explicitly. Explicit. What is the opposite word for explicit? Implicit. Oh, nice. Implicit. So, clearly. Clearly. What else do you have? Explicitly, clearly. Implicitly, not clearly, or vague. Vaguely. Oh, nice, very nice of you. So, proposal, especially at finance, it's better to be explicit, to make some persuasive statement, because people are very sensitive to this issue, especially in business writing, but you may not be concerned with finances rather than total sum of budget, but in business, if your purpose is to asking some amount of money to sponsor your project, finance matters. In this case, finance will be provided by Japanese, not by United States. Then why should we need to ask something from United States side? 그다음 would you read? 잠깐 아마드. 아니요. 이름 까먹었다. 예. 아담?
I had usually planned the possibility of any political criticism by knowing ahead of time what the criticism would be. The project got Senator Moynihan's endorsement.
Stop there. What is the word of endorsement? Support? What is dictionary definition of endorsement? Let me check. Endorsement. But why do we need permission from senator?
Actually, it's from higher official endorsement. It's imposed on the subordinates.
Do we get through NASA or what is Smithsonian first of all?
Smithsonian is institution with
Museum, simply museum, organization for museum. And what is NASM? And let's go back to page 95. Museum. American Museum. Oh. Anyway, here, how many organizations were listed? NASM, Smithsonian Institution, NASA, and U.S. Navy. So for U.S. Navy, step time is built in NASA, Smithsonian Institution, and NASM should be related anyway because we are concerned about space shuttle enterprise. So what is the problem here? So simply multi-institutional problems in physics. Single body, two bodies, easy to manipulate. But three-body problems, it's not easy. Even in organizational hierarchy, it's easy to get permission from our home institute, but it's not easy to make some agreement between multi-institute. What should we do at that case? Cooperation or collaboration or support from top. So, there is difference between institutional hierarchy and political endorsement. We operate with tax money. I'm talking about CRIB or your institute KIEL. Taxpayers are supporting such a national organization or non-profit organization. But politicians are responsible for such a justification or validation. Even our institute and other government-funded institutes are under control of such senatorial or parliamentary monitoring. We are under monitoring. So, in terms of control or in terms of manipulating or influence, in terms of influencing, we are under such an influence, political influence. So, it's not easy to get agreement among such a multi-institute, but single politician can be pivotal point of control. That is your idea of endorsement? Yes, I agree. Sponsor or endorsement. So, Dr. Tani, would you keep lead?
Even if your proposal is entirely benign and has no direct competitors, there will always be those who weigh against it simply because the investors' interest in your project may divert time and money away from their project. There's not much.
Stop there. What is the word benign? Neutral. You said neutral. Or in other ways, neutral means neutral, neither positive nor negative. Neutral. In biological sense, what can be neutral? Nothing. Nothing is nothing. So, we still have something. So
in the proposal, the meaning of the benign is reject.
Meaning of benign should not be rejected. It shouldn't be rejected because it's entirely benign. Benign.
Only means it has no computer. It's the only proposal.
But there is second part, no direct competitors. That's what you talked about. But benign is nothing I agree, but nothing, we need something more to have meaning, to color of here, conflict and benign. Benign is adjective, not noun, first of all. So we should have adjective to describe the meaning of benign. So you said neutral. Muhammad said neutral. Neutral is another adjective, neither noun nor adverb. So it's close to benign, but neutral is so neutral, so it doesn't give us any colorful meaning. Kind of dry. This is kind of dry word, no emotion invoked. I need to have kind of emotion to you. So benign, so nothing. But I agree with your notion of nothing, but nothing, we should have. Nothing comes? Come? C? C-L? Nothing come. Come is another adjective, but I'd like to add here, hamper.
Benign is
The reverse, harmless.
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 Yeah, you are correct. I went opposite. Non-harmful. Yeah. Yeah, you are very correct. Non-harmful. Nothing harmful. I meant this. Nothing harmful. If you say nothing, nothing is nothing, so we cannot add anything. Nothing increased. But nothing is harmful, benign. That's what I'd like to express. So non-harmful. Although your proposal is non-harmful or benign, it may not result in action. We can think in this way, no cost, no harmful effect, please do this for us, but nothing may not happen unless the authority exercise their power to enable such action. This is a situation like that. Although nobody may experience any harmful result, although no cost will incur, still nobody would like to do action. So how can you get action to be exerted in this case? That is the problem. So here you already read, because the investor's interest in your project may divert time and money away from their project. So first meeting we talked about inertia. Do you remember? What is the word inertia? Inertia in physics and inertia in business. 관성 맞습니다. 관성 in Korean. But what do you mean by inertia in physics, and what do you mean by inertia in human behavior or human psychology? It has something with motivation. But like harmful connected with nothing, we need something more in motivation. Although this project may be non-harmful, even it doesn't cost anything, I don't want to make any endorsement. I'm the senator. I have no interest in project. What can you do? Anyway, I have great inertia not to be moved by your proposal. What should I do something for you? I don't divert my time to be involved here. Anyway, I want to be away from you. I don't want to spend time with you. What can you do? So, who will lead the rest?
There is not much you can do about this except keep your ears open for disparaging or false claims made against you.
Stop there. This is the answer. What the answer do you get now? Do you have much thing you can do or no? No. Why no? If that is answer is no, what can we do? According to sentence just read, we can keep our eyes open. What did you say?
Yes. Not
Thank you. Not eyes, but ears. Eyes for watching, but ears for listening. Okay, thank you very much. You were listening to me. So you are very correct. I should keep. You should keep. You kept your ears open for my talking. You have very correct manner. You are closely following his advice. So I was the senator. I made some false statement. I made mistake in eyes. It should be ears. So in such a way, you can correct senators when he made some false statement. In such a way, you can disarm or you can manipulate. We cannot say manipulate. We cannot manipulate authority, but we can divert him. Here, your project, your proposal may divert time and money away from their project. You and their, I and, so we have issue. Here, I and you and theirs, yours and theirs. So I and you combined should become we. So first of all, when we have authority, they are not part of we. But by listening to what they are talking, then you may have chance to join them into we. You and I should become we. The only way to get such a permission is to listening and have chance, waiting and have chance. If you are insisting yourself against their authority, you may be rejected. Not to waste their time, but by waiting and taking chance, you can become part of them, or they can become part of you, and you can correct some false statement claims. Then your turn. If
that happens, you may have to leave it in a timely manner.
In a timely manner, in good chance, you can make a reboot. What is the word reboot? Simply correct situation, okay, or chance to restore your position, which can get endorsement In conclusion, here you may read the sentences or paragraphs, but you might not have the urgency or difficulty he had faced. But now you may have some sense of urgency in terms of money and in terms of person and in terms of political situation at that time, conflict between Japanese side and United side. Also, even in United States, multi-organizations are involved, so it's not easy to get permission from all of them. So the author of proposal approached authority in political setting, and he would like to get endorsement. So it's kind of high-level political activity. So I'd like to ask you to appreciate such a high-level activity. Highly political, also highly, not only political, but also financially very advanced. You may not appreciate it, but if you read 95, he already made some arrangement in Japanese side in terms of providing money. So United States side, only he need permission. So he focused on permission problem. It may not be easy to get such a significance promptly, but not as undergraduate level, but as senior staff scientist level or even top management level of your own institute. You may become such a person eventually. Then you need to learn the technique or the spirit he tried to explain here. That is the point I'd like to share with you. And I'm almost done, and let's go back to any question? I'd like to conclude this meeting with the first paragraph of chapter 3, preparation. Let's go to page 9 and 17. And because we are almost at the end, and let me read. Preparation is the key to success in any activity in your life, I think. Not only in one-page proposal writing, but also in every real-life activity. Without preparation, you may be perplexed or you may be in danger. With preparation, you may have better chance for your own survival. So it's worth to take effort in preparation for hard times. So you are taking this kind of coursework. So you are very shrewd. So be a shrewd manager. You should not be a dishonest manager, but you need to become a shrewd manager with your own intelligence and your own preparation. So you need to learn how to write proposal with your own articulation. Even articulation, last time I talked about articulation. Articulation. Articulation does not come in single lesson. Even in speaking or speech, articulation in speech requires lots of practice. I'm trying to make good articulation in my own speech. If I hear about my own voice, not very good, sometimes terrible. So I'm practicing my own articulation in speaking. Likewise, your writing, handwriting, even word processing, your sentence at first hand may not be perfect. You may better have revision. Likewise, not a revision, but you need to develop articulation in your language. So not only for proposal writing, preparation is the key to success, but in terms of writing, the key essence is articulation, either adapted in action form or adapted into actual writing. So that's the message for you. I'm done. Next week, we will have chapter 5 and 6 together, and we will have some comment. And please finish your feedback. Sorry for this Korean, and I ask English version.